The drama surrounding Andrew Berry and the Cleveland Browns quarterback decision has become one of the most puzzling sagas in recent memory. What began as a story of faith and confidence in a young talent has spiraled into a cautionary tale of hesitation, mixed signals, and a move that could haunt the franchise for years to come. Once hailed as the man who believed in Shedeur Sanders before the rest of the league did, Berry now finds himself at the center of controversy after publicly elevating Dillon Gabriel ahead of Sanders on the depth chart. And the question echoing across Cleveland and beyond is simple: why? It wasn't long ago that Berry stood as Shedeur's most outspoken supporter. When doubts hovered around the young quarterback, when critics wondered if his style and confidence could translate to the NFL, Berry alone seemed unshaken. He saw something in Sanders, something rare, something beyond measurables and stats. And when Sanders took the field during the preseason, those flashes of brilliance confirmed what Berry had hinted at all along. His poise, accuracy, and presence weren't just promising, they were electrifying. Berry himself even approached Shedeur, offering words of encouragement that felt more like a declaration. It wasn't just support. It was a public vow of faith, a statement that Cleveland had found a gem. That moment resonated because it was so uncharacteristic of the NFL's cautious culture. Here was a general manager, often measured and tight-lipped, openly expressing belief in a rookie quarterback. For Shedeur, it felt like validation. For fans, it was a glimpse of hope. Cleveland, a city starved for quarterback stability, might have finally stumbled upon its future. And then, just as quickly as the optimism grew, the narrative changed. Berry's recent decision to push Gabriel ahead of Sanders was delivered with glowing praise. He described Gabriel as mature beyond his years, highly accurate, and a perfect fit for Cleveland's offensive vision. It was the sort of endorsement that should inspire confidence, but instead, it raised eyebrows. Because if Berry believed all of this about Gabriel, then what did it mean about Sanders? And more importantly, what did it mean about Berry himself? Had the man who once promised faith in Sanders now abandoned him, or was there something deeper behind the switch? Critics have not been shy in calling this a mistake. Skip Bayless, never one to mince words, labeled Shedeur Sanders the biggest steal the Browns had made in this century. Watching Sanders' tape, his command of the pocket, his chemistry with teammates like David Njoku and Jerry Jeudy, Bayless argued that Cleveland had lightning in a bottle. Sanders wasn't just another rookie, he was special. He was ready. And passing him over, Bayless warned, was a choice Cleveland would come to regret. Inside the organization, the voices aren't as loud, but they are just as telling. The Browns' assistant GM spoke glowingly about Sanders' work ethic, his discipline, and his growth. In the private halls of the team facility, the impression was clear. Sanders had shown not just talent, but the mindset of a professional, determined to succeed. And yet, despite those acknowledgments, Sanders remains in limbo, overshadowed by a quarterback who, for all his traits, has yet to show the same spark that Sanders brings. This contradiction points to a larger truth, one that haunts the league as much as it haunts Cleveland: ownership. For as much as coaches and general managers like to pretend they hold the keys, the reality is that decisions often trace back to the top. Cleveland's owners, never fully convinced about Sanders, may have pushed for a different direction. 2. Them, Gabriel's polish, his safe demeanor, his by-the-book approach may feel like a more comfortable investment than Sanders' confidence and flash. And if that pressure made its way to Berry, then perhaps his sudden pivot wasn't a matter of preference at all, but survival. There's also another layer of tension simmering beneath the surface, one tied to the larger-than-life figure of Deion Sanders. Shedeur's father, a legend and a man unafraid to speak his mind, has never had an easy relationship with NFL ownership. His criticisms of the system, his boldness, and his unwavering advocacy for his son have made some powerful people uncomfortable. And if there is one thing ownership dislikes, it's discomfort. Could Shedeur be paying the price for his father's candor? Could his path to a starting role be blocked, not by his own shortcomings, but by the friction Deion has created behind closed doors? If so, then this is not just about football. It is about power, politics, and the unwillingness of some in the league to embrace change when it comes wrapped in a package they cannot control. Shedeur Sanders is more than a quarterback. He is a symbol of individuality, of generational talent, nurtured outside of the NFL's traditional machine. Passing on him isn't just a roster decision. It is a statement whether Cleveland intends it or not. And yet, the consequences of this choice could be devastating. Sanders' talent is undeniable. His ability to command an offense, to inspire teammates, to bring energy to a locker room is exactly what Cleveland has been missing for decades. Fans are desperate for a reason to believe, for a leader who can elevate the Browns beyond mediocrity. And with Sanders, that possibility felt real. By sidelining him now, Cleveland risks not only wasting his potential, but alienating a fan base that has long grown weary of waiting. History is unkind to franchises that ignore obvious talent. For every Tom Brady discovered late in the draft, there are countless stories of teams that passed on greatness because they doubted what was right in front of them. If Cleveland continues down this path, if they keep Sanders chained to the bench while others recognize his value, they could find themselves reliving those same painful regrets. For Andrew Berry, the stakes are personal. He was once the visionary, the GM who saw promise before anyone else did. Now, he stands accused of betraying his own instincts. Whether by pressure, fear, or miscalculation, he has shifted course, and the shadow of that decision will follow him. If Gabriel fails, Berry will bear the blame. If Sanders thrives elsewhere, his legacy will be defined by what he let slip through his fingers. Cleveland is at a crossroads. They can cling to caution, to comfort, to the familiar path of playing it safe. Or they can embrace boldness, trust in the raw brilliance of Shedeur Sanders, and seize the chance to rewrite their future. The choice will shape not just this season, but the identity of the franchise for years to come. The instant regret that looms over Andrew Berry is not inevitable, but it is close. With every game Sanders doesn't start, with every moment his talent is wasted on the sidelines, the whispers grow louder. Cleveland has seen glimpses of what he can be. The league has too. And if they refuse to act, they risk letting those glimpses turn into memories of what might have been. So now we turn the question to you. Did Andrew Berry make a catastrophic mistake by elevating Dillon Gabriel over Shedeur Sanders? Is this decision a reflection of ownership politics, Deion's complicated history with the NFL, or simply a misjudgment of talent? And most importantly, will Cleveland regret this for years to come? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want to follow this unfolding drama every step of the way, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Because this story, like the future of Shedeur Sanders himself, is far from finished.